Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur trying to get over that hump. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to go forward and accomplish that dream. This is episode 345, and Mogul Motivation itself is the brainchild of my entire life. I've always been an inspirational or motivational person. I've always been someone about uplift. I've always been someone that just loves to make others feel good, and in the process that makes me feel good. Mogul Motivation was just basically years and years of work. It all started way back when I used to send out daily inspirational texts to my friends in my phone. That was like around 2006, 2007, 2008. And then it morphed into a blog, and I don't like writing. Even though I wrote a couple books, I don't like the process of writing. So the blog didn't last long, but nonetheless, the blog lasted for a couple years. And then after the blog, I just took a break. And then in 2016, that's when I started Mogul Motivation, the podcast itself, which is what you are listening to right now on iTunes, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on right now. That's what I started in 2016. And that's why we have 345 episodes currently as of the release of this episode that I'm talking on right now. But I have another podcast. If you look behind me, this is the new backdrop that I have for my home office. I have another podcast. It's titled Sociology. You can also listen to Sociology and subscribe on all of those platforms that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. Sociology, I interview different Chicagoans about Chicago culture. Everything Chicago, everything from Harold Washington politics to Harold's chicken food to everything in between and beyond. That's what Sociology is all about. I started Sociology in 2021 last year, and today on my Facebook memories popped up a screenshot from Twitter in 2012 when I had the hashtag Chicagoology trended on Twitter. I started that hashtag and it went viral, and a lot of people started chiming in with the Chicagoology hashtag, and it went viral. It was the number one trending hashtag and topic on Twitter for about a week in 2012, and I took a screenshot of that. And it was at that moment that I had conceived the idea for what would be Sociology, but I didn't do anything with it, right? And then a couple years later, I saw it in my email. So because of the Facebook memory I saw today, I went digging in my email. I searched, and in 2015, I saw an email to myself of a treatment for a show titled Chicagoology. Now, I'm saying this because intuition is like a whisper from God. You know what you should be doing, and you know what you shouldn't be doing, but you know what you need to be doing. I just told y'all the progression of the Mogul Motivation brand and how it was always in me. Everything I do is intentional. Everything I do is for a reason. It's always been within me. It's always been a desire for me to do these things. It's always been an idea embedded deep down in my soul. Your intuition is a whisper from God. You know what you want to do. You know what you need to do. You know what you should do. You know what you shouldn't do. Yet we don't listen. You don't listen. And as a result of us not listening, years go by, and those ideas remain dormant in our spirits. They remain there. They don't become reality. The ideas for Mogul Motivation, the ideas for Sociology have always been in me for over 10 years, for over 15 years. They've been there, and I didn't act upon them. Now, the flip side of that, if you want to look at it from a glass half full standpoint, is it wasn't time yet. It wasn't time for you to execute these ideas. And that could very well be true. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean that in the meantime, you can't water those seeds. I didn't water those seeds, but those seeds continue to grow and get larger and larger to the point where I could not ignore them anymore. Sociology always been around. It's been around for over 10 years, and I ignored it. I didn't water it until it got so big I couldn't ignore it, and now here I am watering it and nurturing it and doing what I can to grow that podcast along with Mogul Motivation. Mogul Motivation has grown. It has over 6 figures of subscribers on iTunes and Spotify. It has almost 1 million listens and streams on these platforms. So YouTube is still a little dry because I just started it, but we gonna get there eventually. But the point is, every single idea that you have, every single thought that crosses your mind is there for a reason. It's your intuition telling you this is for a reason. So whatever business idea you have, whatever goal, whatever project that you want to work on is there for a reason, and you have to water it and you have to nurture it until you have the confidence and until you feel that you are ready. And understand, when I say feel that you are ready, it's never going to be a perfect time. But when the time comes for you to do it and to tend to it, you have to do it. So do not abandon these dreams. Do not abandon these ideas. Do not abandon these thoughts that's within your spirit, because they are whispers from God telling you this is what you are on earth for. This is your purpose. This is your passion. And this is what you should be going after. Stop ignoring. Start listening. You don't listen to yourself. You don't listen to what your destiny is. And because you don't listen, you remain frustrated. You remain unhappy. You continue to chase things that are not really for your benefit, and you really shouldn't be chasing after these things in the first place. And you wonder why they're not working out. They're not working out because you're doing the wrong thing, or you're going about it the wrong way. You know what you need to be doing. You know what you need to be talking about. You know what business you need to be working on. You know what route you need to go, but you don't want to listen to yourself. You don't trust yourself. You don't have confidence in yourself. And therefore you remain stagnant and in the same place. That's what it is. All these years, I had the idea for sociology. Who knows where the brand could have been by now, but the brand will still get there eventually in due time, because now I'm finally watering it. Now I'm finally reaping the harvest and tending to it and doing what I got to do. So the same goes for you, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever it is that's on your mind, don't ignore it. Start listening to yourself. Start listening to your intuition. Start listening to God. Start following the path that's been paved for you already. Don't ignore it. Don't give it the mute button, because it's going to stay there and it's going to continue to grow larger and larger until you can't ignore it anymore. So that's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. Mogul motivation, sociology. Everything I do has always been a part of me. It's always been there. And those gentle reminders continue to pop up. That's another episode of Mogul Motivation. When you get a chance, go listen to gentle reminders. Those gentle reminders continue to pop up in my life and remind me of what I should be doing, and tell me I got to stop ignoring it and I got to start listening. If this podcast has benefited you in any way, shape, or form, I ask for two things as always. Number one, leave a 5-star review. And number two, pass it on to a friend who may benefit from it as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you next week.